further on with the gutter rail on the transit camper, and as you can see we've put in our second section through here and our front section there, and we've rounded that off there to give it a original-ish shape. So our next stage will be to run some fiberglass along and then some filler just to tidy up the edges, and obviously you see down there we ground that down when we replaced the plate. And obviously again we check to make sure we have a gap for the door closing, which we do. And as you see, it's a nice gap at the back there. Right, we've started the fiberglassing. As you can see there, we fiberglassed all over the welds once we ground them down, so it gives us a nice smooth surface there. The reason you use fiberglass cover the actual welds is it's a lot better adhesion than just plain filler, and also it's a lot more weather resistant, and it also adds a bit of strength as well. So once we've smoothed that right down to where we're happy with it, we'll then do all the fine detailing with normal filler, as we did on the front scuttle and that. Then once this is all blended in and filled in and primed, which obviously we'll be doing videos of anyway as we go, then we can reapply all of the sealer, new sealer, which will go down in this gutter rail right the way along here to seal this right off, and also down in the body joint, where as you can see the old sealer is just perished and peeling out and lost its adhesion, and obviously we've got these few little rust scabs there that we'll deal with as we go. And as you can see, it takes some time just to make all these panels up, but at the end of the day it keeps another classic on the road, and we've seen newer cars scrapped with less rust. Right, now we've just finished doing the finishing work over the top of the fiberglass. As you can see, it's nice and smooth now. And also all the way down. The lighting, what a shadow. But all the way down through. Oh, that's a bit better. there, that A post, and as we see, we've masked the side and the top of the camper there, so when we were rubbing down we didn't scratch any of the fiberglass body. And we've also done inside edge there. And I'm cleaning out the gutter. We've dug out all the old sealer and started to get the old rust scabs there. We'll clean those all up, we'll treat those and tidy those up, ready for primering. So the next stage will be to remove the door, take the door off, as you can see, a nice big rust hole there, and the bottom half inside edge is rusty as well, but we've got a couple of donor doors which are in good condition. They've got a couple of little dents, but we can sort those out. So our next stage, as I say, will be to get the doors on, get them all lined up, and get it all ready, masked out for primary. Right, okay, we've just finished the repairs to the donor doors for the transit camper, and as you can see, the donor doors were in really good condition, hardly any rust whatsoever. There were a few battle scars from age. As you can see, this here, they normally split, the metal splits just across there. It's a common fault with them, but luckily this one was caught just in time, so we've cleaned the rust off, cleaned it all out, tidied that all up, and there was a few battle scars, the old dents and car park dents and stuff like that. Down the bottom here there's about 3 or 4 right across there, so we just smoothed that right out. But the actual bottoms and the top sides of them were really nice and solid. And this one exactly the same. It had a few repairs done at the bottom there which were a bit lumpy and ropey, so we smoothed those all out, tidied those up, and same again, just started to rust up here, which is a common place for them, and across there, but these were caught in time, so they were all sorted and repaired. And you can see the difference when we look at the older doors. As you can see, that top edge is completely shot. Now it could be repaired, but we found some donor doors, so we sorted those out. And the bottoms appear to look really good, but it's the inner edges that are rusted out. And you can just see there
It's starting to blister out through there. So the lesser of two evils. Shove some new donor doors on there. And it sorts the problem out. It keeps the vehicle on the road, which is the main aim. And the other old door, the original door, as you can see there, you stick your finger right down in there. So it could have been repaired as we did with some of the other panels, but since we had doors that were in better condition, it's a much better choice to top those up and shove them on. And these doors, because they're getting quite hard to get in good condition, what we'll do is in time do the repairs, get them all up, get them all primed, and they'll be ready for the next one that comes along. Right, the bonnet, as you can see there, we've done the little repairs, the little dents and the surface rust, and we've given that a coat of primer. And once you actually primer them up, you'll actually see any little pinholes, which obviously this little green specks here, that's actually a pinhole stopper, which basically once you primer it, you can see the pinholes. You slap some of that in there, and then when you sand down the primer, ready for top coat, that'll all flat back and remove any of the little pinholes in the panel. So our next stage, we'll be getting the cab ready for primer. Okay, we have now put on our replacement doors and lined them up. We've also done the repairs, flatted out the primer, ready for the final stage of primer. And before we fitted the actual doors, I'll get the door open so you get a bit of light. The repairs we did up here and in here, we've literally given those a coat of the paint with the colour, so as when we close the doors up for painting, we can just mask inside the shut area. And then we can spray all the outside without worrying about having to open the doors up to get the inner shut area done. And on the other side we've done exactly the same. That noise you can hear is it's chucking it down, and as you can see, the gutter rail is all in. We've given it a coat of the old diamond white. And we started masking up the brown section, masking that out, which obviously once we've painted it all white, then we'll mask up the door and paint that brown section in. And the same as the bonnet, we've flatted down the first stage primer, giving that a good key up, and you can see where the little green specks there, and the stopper, pinhole filler, they've been flatted down so they're nice and smooth, so any little imperfections have been dealt with. So then we'll get that in the final stage primer. Now we've just finished primering the transit camper. As you can see, we've primed just above where the old primer was. Making sure we masked up everything we don't want to get primed. Now this is a 2-pack primer, which basically means it dries by chemical reaction. You have to add a hardener as a catalyst, and it gives a better high build, and once you've rubbed it down, a better substrate to put your final top coat on. Whereas the cellulose primers are a little bit thin, and they do tend to suck in your paint. So next stage will be to flat all of this back, mask up the complete window and the rest of the vehicle, ready for applying our top coat. And once we've top coated the cab, final stage will be to run a nice bead of adhesive sealer down in this gap here where we've taken out all the old sealer that was breaking up. And as you can see there, the bonnet's all been primed as well. We'll actually be painting the bonnet off the vehicle, because obviously we've got to paint the scuttle area that we repaired, and that'll make it easier by leaving the bonnet off.